episode of BS Busters. I'm joined by the usual suspects. Sir, introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going? It's Kanoshi Bonito.
Glad to have you. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Let's get into another stream. Now, tonight, we're going to be covering general gaming news of the week. You know, nothing too insane. You know, general stuff, and then we're going to cover
Movie review?
yeah. Then I'm gonna basically um, give my spoiler-free review of Thunderbolts, which I saw last week on Thursday, and then I'm gonna give my spoilery review later on. That'll be at the end. I'll give my spoilery review, which I don't want people to say you spoiled the movie for me, you bastard. It's like, look, listen. All right, I let you know. So that'll be at the end. We're also going to cover general gaming news and some good news in gaming. Like, because people always want to think that we only talk about the bad shit, but there's some good shit too. So, without much ado, let's get to it. Um, I guess we'll start with the first thing, which is well, I guess we'll start with the good news first, because start with good news first. Claire Obscura, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has it's sold really well, and they did it with a studio of like 30 people.
Yeah.
You know, the game is not AAA. It feels AAA. It is not AAA. It's more AA or even single A. And it
Yeah.
just shows that, like modern gaming studios publishers and studios don't know what the fuck they're doing. The big AAA ones. Like, because Claire Obscure Expedition 33 feels like, hey, man, an alternate reality where where Hironobu Sakaguchi didn't leave Final Fantasy and it stayed as a, traditional turn-based game. This is what Final Fantasy
Yeah.
could have been.
Yeah.
And instead we got this overly actionized, we have to make this accessible for everybody bullshit. And that's why Final Fantasy has been shit for the last, I mean, I personally feel Final Fantasy has been shit since 13. Like, the last good Final Fantasy we had was 12. And I stand by that statement. I think that Final Fantasy 12 was the last good one. But most embarrassingly, all these other companies don't know how to make games anymore. They can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be hilarious if it wasn't so sad.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that? Like this sad state of affairs.
Well, not to burst everybody's bubble, but we go through this all the time with, an indie game that comes out and it's phenomenal, better than had any right be. And we always have this argument about, oh, AAAs, they'll finally learn their lesson. But look at this game. They ain't gonna learn the lesson.
Or they learned the wrong lesson.
Yeah, or they're gonna learn the wrong lesson.
Yeah, they learned the wrong lesson. It's like, oh man, look what indies were able to do. Well, that's cool and all, but the lesson that the lesson we're gonna learn from this isn't we need to make our games under a tighter budget or actually have some better gameplay or whatever. It's gonna be some bullshit like, well, the problem is we aren't spending enough money on games. is too expensive. I'm like, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't fucking get it. It's you know what I mean. It's sad, but they don't get it. You know, to quote a YouTube personality who used to exist around here, you just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't get it. It's kind of sad, really. It's you know, they just don't understand that you have to kind of like games need to be um games need to be um like games are, yes, you are creating a product. That is true. But you're also creating something that requires creativity and a vision. Yeah, creative vision. And just trying to make something to appeal to a certain demographic versus making something that has some artistic merit is the reason why games are the way they are now.
Yeah.
You know, people wonder why games aren't as creative as they used to be because there's no incentive for games to be creative anymore. You know, there's no incentive for you to make. Like, I remember a time when, you know, like the double A, single A studios would make the most inventive games because they had to differentiate themselves from your triple A games. That's how we got some franchises that people still love today. That's how we got Darksiders. That's how we got shit. The racing games we've gotten. A lot of the Sonic racing games. Like a lot of those mid tier games, the mid tier doesn't really exist anymore.
Nope. No, not really.
You know? And that's a bad thing because guess the fuck what? When you don't have when you don't have creativity in a creative medium, you get what we have right now, which is this stagnation. And yes, it is stagnant. Don't let anyone tell you that gaming right now isn't stagnant. It is. It's totally stagnant.
Yeah.
Okay? Um we have a severe lack of creativity. All right? Okay, if you don't believe me, the biggest games that came out last week was a remaster of a game that came out in 2000. When did Oblivion come out? Let me look that up. Look that shit up because I don't want to be that guy. Wikipedia, Elder Scrolls 4. 2006. So basically, roughly speaking, rounded all up, a 20-year game.
Yeah, it's a video game. It's
A 20-year-old game. Like, there are people who were playing this game who weren't even alive for the original game to come out. All right. Now, I'm not casting any aspersions on people who are young and didn't play the original game. I'm not. I'm simply making a point. And the point is this. All right. The stagnation of gaming uh and like new games should be coming out, not a lot of old shit.
yeah.
you know. And I know some people
Yeah.
say, "Hey, man, I want to play old shit." Cool. I'm happy you want to play old shit, but like new shit needs to come out too. That's how you grow the industry. And right now we're not having a lot of industry growth. We're having a lot of old shit coming out, not a lot of new shit coming out.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going,
Well,
man? Long time no see. How you doing?
Good. I'm glad I finally caught up to your live streams. Retard! Faggot! Faggot! Retard! Sorry, that's my tics. That's my tics. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Right. Right. Okay.
what the heck?
He's got
Tourette's.
Tourette's.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got
okay.
Tourette's. Um, okay then. So if that's the case,
Here,
I understand. If you feel that coming on,
I'll try and mute it.
mute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways,
so yeah,
too many old game, too many people getting excited for old games rather than new games.
although I mean, not to say there's anything wrong with old games. Although here's the hilarity about Oblivion, right? Oblivion, right? Everyone's like, "Oh man, Oblivion, this is terrible." Oh man, Bethesda's like, "Oh man, this won't support modding." And within like 24 hours, like modders were like, "Yeah, take a step back. I got this." They unleashed. They started fixing it with mods. Yeah, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah, modders. Like they you know the leveling up for Oblivion is terrible. Absolute trash. Cuz basically you can level up so high that like you can get your skills so high that like if your primary skills reach certain levels, you level up too quickly and then you'll find enemies that are way too goddamn strong for you. So you're incentivized to level up the skills you're not good at so that
Dang, that's that game design.
well, I mean, at the time they were like Bethesda's game design at the time was very reactive. So they were always trying to fix something that happened with the previous game. So the original Elder Scrolls Arena, even though you're supposed to be fighting in the arena and all that shit, you wind up basically traveling all around the world of the Elder Scrolls universe. Like you can choose to come from to be any of the 10 races, come from 9 other places to live. Like it's a massive game. Daggerfall was smaller. You were only in one region, but Elder Scrolls was janky as like the first game it was janky as hell. The second game was less janky, but still pretty goddamn janky. If you get what I'm saying. Um, and Morrowind was less janky than the previous game, but still pretty goddamn janky. So it's just been a steady progression of janky, but not as janky as the previous game.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, like the thing that I like about Elder Scrolls about what I like about them releasing Elder Scrolls 5, I mean 4, is that it gives people who never played that game and only were familiar with Skyrim a chance to see what was lost from Oblivion to Skyrim. How magic got nerfed to shit in Skyrim. How the guilds got nerfed to shit in Skyrim.
Yeah.
And I know what some people are going to say. They're going to be like, well, you know, like, how could this happen? It's like, it was very easy. It got nerfed to shit. But enough about that. Anyone have any thoughts on the lack of creativity and how newer games are just kind of like doing everything these days? They're doing the heavy
Um,
lifting.
well, again, they want to do it safe. They're more. It's not. They're more. A lot of these bigger companies are more money printing machines than they are, and they're more about pleasing their investors than they are about creating a particular risky product.
That's fair.
It's not that creativity doesn't exist within these companies. It's just that it's probably stomped out because will the investors make money? Will the investors be pleased?
Yeah. I mean, look, we understand that these people are running a business and they're trying to make money. I mean, like even if you don't own a business, you're trying to make enough money to make shit run. I understand that, but we're seeing we're in a creative medium where creativity matters.
Yeah.
Is there anything I have to say about like games that are not creative? Of course you have your Call of Duties. And of course, you have other games, but like um I don't know. I mean, it's just I feel like when it comes to Nintendo side, I think it's funny how Nintendo's trying to make everything like open world, but it could be a good idea. Mario Kart World being open world. I mean, I'm excited for that game, but it's $80 is the problem.
I mean, that is true, but I mean, like, here's the thing. I'm about to say something. Some people might get angry with it. I don't really care. When Satoru Iwata died, the heart and soul of that company kind of went out. All right.
I can agree.
That's actually a cool take. Like I've heard other people say that.
But it's like because the lack of creativity with like the Switch 2 is just a more powerful Switch.
Yeah.
There's no real creativity or anything interesting really going on or anything. So I'm like, I'm a little underwhelmed. You know, there's no real creativity or anything interesting really going on. And I know, like here's the thing. As a gamer, this is what the original Switch should have had. I understand that, but as a Nintendo gamer, I'm like, oh man, y'all just basically just kind of like, there's nothing interesting really going on here. Nothing. Like there's no creativity or anything really interesting going on with the Switch, in my opinion. Now I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear with the Switch too. I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear that, but it's my opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. All right. So anyway, that's just my onions. Those are just my opinions. Anyone else have anything else they want to say before we move on to the next topic?
Nah.
Speak now or
Well,
forever hold your peace.
I guess one thing I have to say is I'm really, really excited for Ninja Gaiden 4, and I'm also excited for Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I can't wait!
Well, I'm more excited for Ragebound than I am for another Ninja Gaiden. Mostly because Ragebound is more like 2D platformer ish. Yeah, it's more old school Ninja Gaiden than because I didn't like the Hironobu. The guy who left Koei Tecmo and was like, oh man,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I wasn't. I didn't like his take on Ninja Gaiden. It turned it into like an action beat 'em up that was so damn hard it wasn't even fun. I'm more old school Ninja Gaiden. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
True.
But that's my own personal opinion. Anyway,
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
yeah, Bonanza looked cool. I hope it turns out to be good.
Yeah, me too.
My only thing is when they announced it, I'm like, oh, so we're going back to creating like original villains, and we're not bringing back the Kremlings, really? Okay, whatever. Uh, okay, that being said,
Well, hey, at least it's creative.
I will reserve judgment until I get the game in my hands. That being said, I guess we'll keep it moving to the next topic, which is GTA 6 has been delayed.
Right, I guess. I don't know. Like, I saw the new trailer. It's like, this looks really good. But I don't trust you, Rockstar.
I
I
mean,
don't
look,
trust you. I don't trust you on a plane.
GTA
I don't
5.
trust you on a train.
GTA
I
5
don't
looked
trust
amazing.
you.
GTA 5 looked amazing.
Yeah.
And the single player is great. Here's the thing, okay? GTA, even GTA 4 has a lot of issues. It's still a fun game. The problem with Rockstar is, are they going to put all their money, all their resources into the online for this game, or are they going to split their resources developing single player content for the single player game as well?
Yeah.
And if all they're going to do is just like have the single player and then come down on people who create mods for the single player, which is what they did for GTA 5, then I mean it's going to be like, okay, then what's the point?
Yeah.
When was Grand Theft Auto 5's first release date? I mean, 6th release date?
Well, it was supposed to come out this year, but they pushed it back to next year. I'm going to see GTA 5. GTA 5 came out in 2013. So it's an old game. It's been 13 goddamn years. And they re-released GTA 5 on everything.
I see. I wonder if I hope the Switch 2 can run GTA 6.
I don't think Nintendo gamers would appreciate Grand Theft Auto.
I think the PlayStation 5 and Xbox are probably gonna have trouble running this game, honestly.
Like, and that's my own personal opinion. I think that the game is gonna look. I think the game's gonna sell gangbusters because GTA is one of the few third-party games that just sells gangbusters. That's just the way it is. Okay, if you're a Nintendo fan, I hate to break this to you, but there's a third-party developer, Rockstar, that can release a game that can go toe-to-toe with Nintendo games. That's just the way it is. Don't at me. Don't get mad about it. That's just the way it is. All right. Okay. That being said, despite all of that, I too am a little bit excited for the game. Because remember, all right, you're going back to Vice City. Okay. Now, for me,
that was Vice City.
Yeah, the first GTA game I ever played was GTA Vice City. I remember playing, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then I remember playing, like, I played it at a friend's house, and then I played GTA San Andreas. I'm like, oh, this is so much better than Vice City. I mean, gameplay mechanics wise. Because GTA Vice City, people forget, that game, you still hit the water, you died instantly. I'm like, this hardcore gangster, but he can't swim.
Yeah.
That's like Jesse and James movie.
Yeah, basically. It's like, oh, you can't swim for real? But anyway, that's my opinion. I could be wrong. Uh, I want the game to be good. I want people to play these games. I want to be wrong. Will I be wrong? Probably not. But anything's possible. You know, anything is possible. Anything.
Just imagine if Grand Theft Auto 6 ends up being bad and it ends up only getting like 5 million views. I mean, sales.
I don't see that happening.
I bet if I have a question. If Grand Theft Auto doesn't meet its sales expectations, do you think Rockstar will go bankrupt?
No.
Okay, that's good.
But I don't see GTA having bad sales, mostly because that's like one of the most anticipated games of the last 5-10 years.
I see.
And when you've got like people being that like when something's hyped that much, a game could be a total and complete piece of you know what. Cause remember, when GTA 5 came out, the online was trash. Like people forgot that the online for that game was utter and complete hot buttered trash. And yet people rolled with it. And it wasn't look the online was so bad that people who were supposed to review it basically gave it a mulligan. They reviewed the single player first, then when the online came out, they reviewed that separately. It was like two separate games. I was like, what type of bullshit is this?
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to give it a bad review.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting mad at people. I'm not starting any shit, but that's just the way it is. That's the price one paid for games at that time. You know, there's always been this inherent kind of bias towards Rockstar. And they do look. Rockstar does make really good games. Like even their non GTA games were pretty good. Like, do people remember table tennis? The table tennis game they did.
I heard good things about that.
And it was like this. This shouldn't be good. This should have been some throwaway bullshit, and yet it was amazing. So, like, I'm not one of those Nintendo fans who thinks that because a game isn't on my system, or at least I'm not anymore. That because a game's not on my system, I can't give props to people. I don't want to be one of those people. So even though this game is probably not going to come to the Switch, I'm okay with that. Because really, if you're going to play a open world sandbox game, it's probably better for you to play it on on the PC than on a console. Because then it can be modded, and you have more control. You have more controls on how you can play it. There's just you have more stuff you can do. Which to me is cooler than just trying to just make everything be a certain way. Which is where people mess up. They want everything to be a certain way. It's like, no. you need variety. You know, like not every game should come to every system, unless it's a game that's like some basic bit shit that could be on anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, enough about that. Anyone else have anything else they want to say before we move on to the next topic? Anybody? Anybody?
No.
All right. Next topic is, well, I mean, I kind of touched on it, but Oblivion. Modders stepped in and fixed the game when, as per usual, the remaster. It fixes the loot leveling, so you no longer have to wait forever to hand in quests. And it just auto upgrades leveled items, so you automatically always get the best version of an item.
Yeah.
Which is good. You know? Because who the hell wants to... I mean, Skyrim has the same thing, where, like, certain quests have leveled loot, and it's like, if you don't go in there at a high enough level, what you wind up getting is some bullshit. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You know? Now, if only they fixed that damn adaptive difficulty, which they probably have already released a mod that fixes damned adaptive difficulty, because adaptive difficulty is some bullshit. You know, every fight shouldn't be a struggle in a video game. You know? It's like every battle in a game like that is just this fucking slog, which I don't like. I've never liked that in games. You know.
Yeah.
You know, Bethesda is notorious about that with their adaptive difficulty in their games. I'm like, bruh, not every fight needs to be like, an end of the world knockout, drag out fight. Okay. They don't all need to be a struggle. You know, sometimes people want to go into an area with low level enemies and kick ass and take names. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Well,
But anyway, enough about that. Um, anyone have anything else they want to add? Nothing?
I haven't played Oblivion.
Really? Well, now's the time to do it. It's on everything. The remaster.
Awesome.
It's a fantastic. I mean, imagine a D&D inspired world, but with its own lore that has nothing to do with D&D.
Oh wow, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons either. I would like to try that game.
Yeah, it's like a D&D inspired world, but there's no D&D.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I personally thought it was pretty good. The first Elder Scrolls I played, I tried to play Morrowind way back in the day, and I couldn't do shit in it. And then I went even further back and played Daggerfall, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then I got Oblivion on the PS3 because my computer at the time couldn't play it. And I was like, oh, I get it. I liked it so much, I got Skyrim almost day one. And let me tell you something. That was a mistake.
yeah.
I got Skyrim on the PS3, and everyone knows that was like the worst way to play that game because it was because of the cell architecture of the PS3. It was like everything was a goddamn slog. It was, oh man, that game was so rough, so damn rough. Y'all don't know how rough that shit was back in the day. But anyway, yeah. And I'm talking like you would go into an area, you'd be playing the game, and if you played for longer than like 30 minutes, like 30, 40 minutes, like you would begin to see the game struggling to load areas. And then you're like, shit, I gotta save. And then you would save and stop because if you kept on playing, you would enter an area and the floor would spawn. So you just fall until the game crashed. That was PS3 Skyrim, which is how.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, which is how I know. Like, I was on the PC Gamer website, or maybe it was Polygon, one of the two. And this guy was like, "Yeah, Skyrim. They're re-releasing Skyrim, and it's got the same bugs." And they're like, "Oh no, Skyrim's perfect." I'm like, "Oh really?" I was like, "So what platform did you play Skyrim on? That you didn't have any bugs or glitches or any issues?" He's like, "Oh, I played it on PS3." I'm like, "You're a goddamn liar." You're lying. Okay.
That's funny.
Because the fact that you would say that there were no bugs or glitches and you played it on the PS3, you're full of shit. You are inherently full of shit. Because it was there were inherent issues with that. It was fundamentally broken. Anyway, enough about that. Let's we had some other news, but it's about time to move on to the final little bit. So I'm going to give you my spoiler-free review of The Thunderbolts. This is a movie that came out last week. It's an ensemble cast. I don't remember everyone's names, but it's got characters. It's got the Red Guardian. Shit. The White Widow, who's the Black Widow's sister. It's got Ghost. It's got the Taskmaster. It's got Wyatt Russell as John Huntsman. John Walker. the junior varsity Captain America. Not Captain America, bootleg Captain America. Like it's like you're an asshole. He's like, yes, I am. He's like, I'm not. I'm a decorated soldier. It's like you killed someone. You killed an innocent person in front of everybody on national TV. He's like, but I'm Captain America. It's like you're not though. Yeah. So the movie just it was really good. The humor was on point. It followed the Marvel formula, but in a good way. Yes. You had a group of disparate characters who initially don't like each other and eventually wind up banding together to take on a greater big bad, and it eventually culminates with them fighting something that's all in the sky, as per usual of every superhero movie these days. That's the formula. However, the ingredients to create the recipe were a little bit different and it worked. I will give a spoiler review at the end of the cast that'll make people go, oh, goddamn. But we'll talk about that later. Any questions? Non-spoilery questions?
No.
All right. So we did the good news for gaming first, so I guess we'll just we'll fall into our normal thing of unpopular opinion / free topic. Do you have any free topics you'd like to bring up, Kadoshi? Anything you're like, you know what? No one's talking about this, and people got to talk about this.
Like gamers have lost their mind pertaining to Nintendo. They say Nintendo's the problem because they inspired Microsoft to raise their prices.
They were gonna raise their prices anyway. Nintendo just kind of. It's kind of like when what's their name? Who the fuck was it? Fuck. They the next gen version of of EA Sport, not EA, 2K Sports was like $70. 2K did that.
Yeah.
It's like they all want to raise their prices.
Yeah.
Because they want to get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not happy. Look, listen, I agree with you. I wouldn't like. I wish the prices stayed low, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't stop people from. You can't stop people. You can't stop these. The only thing you can do is basically what they don't realize is that you're just gonna basically have to pick and choose what you can buy and when you're gonna buy and wait for shit to go on sale.
Yeah.
One reason why gaming on PC is so much better because I can literally wait for some shit that I want to play to go on sale.
Exactly.
But you know, to each his own.
Yeah.
Still trying to think of my opinion.
Go ahead. What opinion do you have?
Okay, does it could it be on anything or just gaming and movies?
It doesn't. It could be on anything. Preferably, we'd like it to stick on gaming or movies or pop culture things. But you can have an opinion on
Okay.
anything. That's why it's called unpopular opinion free topic. It could be anything you want.
Okay.
Movies, television, music.
Okay, I have an unpopular opinion. I think scary movies are at its best today, it seems like, with Smile 2 and the Terrifier series. And the Smile movies, like.
Okay. I mean, I personally thought Terrifier was just like torture porn, gore porn. It's like, that's just fucked up. But I mean, look, man, that's your opinion. I will say horror movies have gotten better. Like I watched Sinners 3 times over the last 2.5 weeks, and
Well, I'd love to see it.
it was really good. You know, and it's. I mean, look, man. Here's how messed up Sinners is. The horror of vampires is not nearly as bad as racism in 1930s Mississippi. It's like, those vampires are horrible, but the Klan is even worse.
Yeah, I read this book called The Reckoning by Mary Trump, and at the first few pages, I heard that like there was this one black couple who basically were tortured alive. It was very sad and bad.
Yeah, that's called the horrors of the racism of America. But anyway, yeah. So you know, to each his own. You know, hey man, that's a fair assessment. Um, anything else you'd like to add about that topic that you were going on about? Scary movies?
Yeah. Well, it's just like um. Also, I also like um. I also would like to see I I'd like to see what's that? Ghost Rider tried again as a Marvel movie.
Okay, but if they do Ghost Rider again, I want them to bring back. I want them to bring back Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
He was the
I heard
best part of those
that very
movies.
good.
He was the best part of those movies.
Oh,
I want them to bring back Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze. If they want to get a new Ghost Rider, I want Nicolas Cage back as Johnny Blaze, and I want him to pass the torch on to somebody else.
oh. So I have a question. I'm thinking about reading Ghost Rider series. I got the books, some of them, but
Did you
I
say
just
Ghost
don't
Rider
know.
or Ghost Rider, as in the Marvel character?
Ghost Rider, the Marvel character.
Okay, because there also was a TV show called Ghost Rider where there was like this haunted typewriter. Well, there was a ghost that like helped these kids solve mysteries by writing on the typewriter.
Really?
Yes, it was one of those weird like Nickelodeon shows that were made in Canada on the cheap, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm old. I'm 39.
I
I got
see.
there's a lot of weird shit that came on TV when I was a kid.
Oh, um, yeah. So is Ghost Rider a dark series, or is it like one of Marvel's more mature?
I mean, the storylines have been kind of either or. Like the idea of there being a stuntman who makes a deal with the devil to cure his father's lung cancer, and the devil cures his lung cancer, but he still dies in a car accident anyway.
That's funny.
No,
When I make a deal with the devil,
No, it's fucked up, really. But here's
I
the
think it's
thing.
fucked up.
It's Marvel, so Marvel actually has the devil. The devil actually exists in Marvel. The devil,
Oh.
except they call him something different. So the devil in
The
the Marvel
devil-
universe is called Satanish. And
Oh.
he's constantly fighting a war against a demon overlord from another dimension named Dormammu.
Ooh.
And Dormammu, if you watched Doctor Strange, Dormammu is a major villain for Doctor Strange.
Oh.
Like that's one of his
Interesting.
major villains. So basically, yeah, Johnny Blaze made a deal with the devil, and shit didn't work out because deals with the devil never do. And but his storylines have ranged from being silly to serious. It depends on if his stories are the Marvel, I want to say the Max label, because basically, like Marvel had a Max label that basically was like their M-rated, R-rated comics,
Ooh.
and then they had like their more like their mainstream stuff was more for everybody, but their Max label was more serious. Like there's a fight between the Kingpin and Frank Castle, the Punisher, in one of the Max comics, and the fight is so brutal that I'm like, I don't care who wins this fight. Y'all gonna be in y'all have years of physical therapy. Y'all gonna be in traction for the next 2-3 years.
That's funny.
No,
Right, that's crazy.
It's fucked up, man. It's
fucked
like, god damn. I mean, they do horrific things to each other during this fight. It's like, god damn.
Ooh. Does Spider-Man ever get on Marvel Max?
They had comics that like Marvel eventually got rid of their Max label, but there are comics where Spider-Man does some shit that's so fucked up that it's like if Max existed, like later on after they got rid of Max, it would have been a Max level. Like there's one
Oh.
where alternate reality Spider-Man has a like the Craven sent one of his family members after one of Spider-Man's family members, and they killed one of his like family members. Not like not Aunt May or his wife, but someone else that was close to him. And Spider-Man went and found the woman who did this, and he ripped her face off.
Ow!
Yeah, he used his his spider grip on her face, and then ripped her face off.
But I thought Spider-Man doesn't kill people.
She wasn't dead. He just fucked her up real good.
Oh.
Yeah, look, man. Spider-Man. Here's the thing: if Spider-Man is joking with you, you're all right. If he isn't saying a word, he's just really serious. Spider-Man's about to fuck you up real bad. Okay. Yeah. You don't want Spider-Man. You don't want serious Spider-Man coming after you, because if serious Spider-Man is coming after you, it's like if you ever have the Hulk coming after you and he's not raging out, like he's literally just very serious and focused. That means that Bruce Banner and the Hulk have a unified mind about what they're gonna do. Oh. It's probably gonna be something terrible. So don't. Run.
Oh yeah. I guess another question I have is like, does this character, who's the boss at the end of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Galactica, what series does he appear in? Galactus.
Yeah. Galactus was originally a Fantastic Four villain.
Ooh. So you talk with Dr. Doom?
Same thing with Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom, Dr. Doom, Galactus. Black Panther was originally a Fantastic Four villain.
Oh.
Yeah, he entices the Fantastic Four to come to Wakanda under false pretenses, because he figures out, I can hunt these people down, these superhumans down. They'll be the greatest prey because they've got superpowers. And basically he hunts them down. Like he devises traps that neutralize their superpowers in order to kill them. And the only reason they don't die is because they have this random white guy intern who has no powers at all, who basically wanders around and like gets them out of it. And then they all band together at the very end of the comic. They're like, look, it's like, why'd you do this? He's like, well, I wanted to prove that my science and my know-how was better than your fantastic abilities. And I'm like, wow, that would have ended differently had I written that comic. I would have been like, oh, and they spent the next 3 days beating the shit out of T'Challa. just 3 days of ass whooping. Because this was a different, whatever. Anyway, enough about that. Anything else you want to ask?
What do you think of the Marvel collection?
Which collection?
Like, the Marvel vs. Capcom collection.
I'm glad it's coming out. People need to play those games. Marvel vs.
They already
Capcom.
came out.
Well, Marvel vs. That's what I said. I'm glad it came out. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 may be one of the best fighting games of all time.
Oh. Oh yeah, so I have a hot take, but I like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 better than 2, and Marvel vs. Capcom 1. I don't know.
That's fair. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is more accessible. The control scheme is easier to get into. 2 is based off of the Street Fighter 3 engine, which Street Fighter 3 is very technical. So, like, if you don't get the timing just right, it's very, like... And yet, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is easier to get into. Like, the button combinations for you to use the special moves, it's still more like Street Fighter 2 versus 3, but it's based off of the 3 engine.
Oh, I see.
That's probably why you probably didn't like it that much.
Well, it's just, here's the thing. Like, I played Marvel Superheroes, and I actually beat it.
Yeah.
I know also Marvel Superheroes and Street Fighter versus X-Men and Street Fighter versus Marvel and then Marvel's Capcom 1. The controls are like kind of more simple than Marvel's Capcom 2, I think. I could be wrong, but like I remember like there's this one designated button for special attack.
Yeah. I mean, look, man. DC has had better video games just because of the Arkham games. But Marvel has the potential to have better video games. It's just they don't want to put the money into making them. Like you could do a Defenders video game set solely in New York City with Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Punisher, and maybe add Spider-Man. And you could have that's like a roster. That's a great roster of characters. Just going around New York beating up the criminals. It could work. It would be amazing. But no one wants to do that because it's a rights issue and all that shit. Anyway, enough about that. I got to give my spoiler review of Thunderbolts. Okay. So that's the end of the cast. If you guys want to leave right now, if you want to stay, this is the spoiler review of Thunderbolts. I'm going to get into spoilers. I'm going to talk about the in-game credits and go over the general story. So if you don't want to hear that, bounce. Y'all still here? Okay. All right, so here we go. The spoilery review of Thunderbolts. So Thunderbolts takes place after the events of Brave New World. Okay, and it's the end of Marvel Phase 5. They're going into Phase 6 right now. Now, I said earlier that this film has a lot of villainous characters who you don't really, who you understand their trauma, but you're like, y'all are kind of dicks. John Walker, aka not Captain America, Red Guardian, who was a Soviet from the Soviet Super Soldier program, Bucky Barnes, who was a Hydra assassin. So basically, he was a Nazi assassin. Given the Super Soldier serum, by the way. You've got who else? You've got fucking the White Widow, Black Widow's sister, who like one of her first tasks in order for her to be inducted into the Widow program was she had to trick some little girl to come outside and get assassinated. It's fucked up. Really fucked up shit. Yeah, it's really fucked up shit. And of course, Bob. Now, here's the thing. You're seeing trailers to this movie. You're like, who the fuck's Bob? Bob is the Sentry. Okay. Now, in the comics, the Sentry is this. He's basically Marvel's version of Superman, except he's got mental issues where he went crazy. So the dark part of him comes out, and it becomes the Void and begins killing people. The Void's in this movie too, except he's the embodiment of Bob's depression. All right. So at the end of the movie, they have to fight depression.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's kind of like imagine if you had the Justice League and they had a character that had the powers of Superman, but if they use them, there's a chance they go crazy and murder half the Earth.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's fucked up shit. On top of that, they're dealing with a politician who is doing some really fucked up shit herself. In the absence of Nick Fury and the Avengers and all that other type of stuff. And like I said, the end. There's two after credit end credit scenes in the movie, there's a mid-credit stinger, and then there's an end credit after the end credits. The mid-credit is, essentially speaking, you find out that Sam Wilson, the real Captain America, is creating his own team called the Avengers, and the Thunderbolts, who are now like, there's a reason there's an asterisk behind their name, because they're being called by Gloria de la Fontaine. Oh, sorry, Allegra de la Fontaine. They're calling De Fontaine. Like, she's basically trying to make them into the new Avengers, and and, and Sam Wilson isn't having that shit. So he copyrighted the Avengers name, so they can't use that name. They're gonna have to go with a new name. But they're in Stark Tower and all that shit, so that's kind of cool. After those credits, after the mid credits, there's the end credits goes into a thing where you're seeing a dimensional anomaly with a ship coming out of side of a dimensional warp into their the prime MCU universe. And can you guess what number is on this ship's hull?
What number is on it?
Guess.
Crap, I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. They have a movie coming out in July. Or is it June? June. They've got a man who can stretch, a dude who can light himself on fire.
Oh, 4?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, they're bringing in the Fantastic Four, which proves the point that I had all along, that the world that the Fantastic Four are in First Steps is an alternate reality.
Yeah.
An alternate reality that they may or may not save. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. Reed Richards is like one of the smartest characters in the Marvel universe, but I mean, who knows, man? I don't know. I just work here. But I'm looking forward to the new Fantastic Four movies. The new Marvel movies. They're finally bringing the Fantastic Four in. It's like, where the fuck have the Fantastic Four been with all this shit going down? Well, they were in an alternate universe. I suspect that when they went into, when they got their powers, they also went to another dimension.
Yeah.
That's what I suspect. I suspect that's going to be the hook. I don't know if that's the case. It's just a supposition. Anyway, that's my spoilery review. My score. So my score for Thunderbolts is, I think that Brave New World was a better film. It was tighter because you didn't have to juggle an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Because it pretty much revolved around Sam, his sidekick, and Isaiah Whitlock, the original Captain America, or like one of the original Captain America super soldier people. So it's like, okay, I can kind of see where this is going. Isaiah Whitlock Bradley. So I don't know necessarily. For me, I think Brave New World is an A- movie. Thunderbolts is a solid B. Like, it's a solid 88, 86, between 88 and 86% film. So let's say 87. Let's split the difference, say 87. Brave New World for me was like a 93. Just because it was more of a focused film. There was a lot of, there was nothing, like, there was shit that would have been interesting to see with other characters, but you didn't, because they had a limited amount of time for the film to work out, and they had to get to the conclusion. It's like, we gotta wrap this shit up. Whereas Brave New World felt like, okay, these characters are established, and we pretty much, like, everything that they hint at early on, you can see where it's kind of you can see how everything is going to tie in later on, which I like. I like films that have a lot of setup and payoff. Don't set, like a good film should be like you're watching basketball and someone sets up an alley-oop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's that setup, and then the guy jumps in the air and does the payoff. Like, don't set it up and then just have no one there to do the payoff. What the hell, man? But that's just me. So that's the end of the cast. Anything you want to pimp out before you wrap things up?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Play your games. Live your life. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something that you want to do if it's within reason. That's my own personal opinion. Peace and good night.
Night.